Welcome back to our channel. I just have to scream about how completely wild it is that EJ DiMera is about to take the fall for a crime he didn't even commit. And the best part? He is doing it to himself. I mean, EJ has always been arrogant, but the level of pure, unadulterated stupidity he is showing right now is off the charts. I am half celebrating because EJ desperately needs to be taken down a peg for all the horrible things he's done recently, but I am also half complaining because he is getting outplayed by a teenager! Because let's be real for a second, Sophia Choi is totally alive. I've been watching since 2015, and this is honestly one of the best, most chaotic things they've done in a while. We all know the golden rule of soap operas: if there's no body, there's no death. Back in May, when Kristen DiMera bashed Sophia over the head with a rock and had her goons toss her into the river, we were all supposed to believe that was the end of it. But they never found her. They found some bloody evidence. They found the fake suicide note that Kristen forced her to write to frame Holly Jonas, but no Sophia. So, obviously, she has been biding her time, healing up, and plotting the ultimate revenge. And I am entirely here for it. But, wait, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's back up and talk about the absolute masterpiece of a frame job that is happening right now, mostly by complete accident. So, in the July 13th episode, EJ finds out that Kristen is planning a little girls' weekend in Paris with his daughter, Sydney DiMera. By the way, Evelyn Stephenson is doing a great job as Sydney, but that's beside the point. EJ knows Kristen. We all know Kristen. She doesn't do anything out of the goodness of her heart. She is taking Sydney to Paris to manipulate her, to poison her against EJ, and to use her as a pawn in their ongoing sibling war. EJ realizes this, and he completely flips his lid, and this is where EJ makes the dumbest mistake of his entire life. He goes to his trusted assistant, Rita Leslie, and gives her strict, explicit instructions to fuel up the DiMera corporate jet and prep the family's private island. Why? Because he wants to banish Kristen there, to live out the rest of her days. He literally tells Rita to make Kristen disappear. Like, who says that out loud? You are the CEO of a major corporation. Your family is already under investigation for a massive tainted drug crisis, and you are casually ordering a kidnapping in the middle of your living room. So, naturally, because this is Salem and the walls have ears, Lexie Carver overhears the whole thing. Poor Lexie has been going through absolute hell lately. The Versavix resurrection serum is failing, her health is rapidly declining, and she literally collapsed during EJ's frantic rant about Sydney. But right as EJ is giving Rita the kill order, or the kidnapping order, whatever you want to call it, Lexie wakes up from her fainting spell. She hears everything. EJ's own sister, the woman he brought back from the dead, is now the star witness to his premeditated crime. I mean, the irony is just dripping off the screen. Okay, back to the point about Kristen. Kristen is evil, but she isn't stupid. She knows EJ is furious about the Sydney situation, and she knows he wants payback for her using Sophia to try and murder Johnny in that apartment fire. So what does Kristen do? She runs straight to Marlena Evans and plays the ultimate victim card. I am sorry, but watching Kristen DiMera pretend to be a terrified, helpless mother is the most hypocritical thing I have ever witnessed on television. This is the same woman who drugged Sarah Horton, shoved her in a trunk, and shipped her off to a deserted island. Remember when they tried this sympathetic Kristen angle with Brady a few years ago? Yeah, didn't work then either. But Marlena, being the saint that she is, actually listens. Kristen begs Marlena to watch over Rachel if anything happens to her. And when Marlena asks point blank if EJ threatened her, Kristen looks her dead in the eye and says yes. Boom. The trap is set. Kristen has officially established a motive, a threat, and a timeline. If Kristen goes missing tomorrow, every single finger in Salem is going to point directly at EJ DiMera. And that brings us to the absolute genius of this impending twist. Kristen is absolutely going to get kidnapped, but it's not going to be EJ who does it. It is going to be Sophia Choi. Am I the only one who sees this coming from a mile away? Sophia has been lurking in the shadows since May. She has lost her life, her family, her friends, all because Kristen manipulated her into that deadly plot against Johnny and then discarded her like trash. Sophia is going to snatch Kristen right out from under EJ's nose. I know some people are loving this whole EJ as the unstoppable mob boss era, but personally I think he is getting incredibly sloppy. Stefano DiMera would be rolling over in his grave right now. Stefano never left loose ends. He never shouted his criminal conspiracies in a room where someone was passed out on the couch. EJ is so blinded by his rage over Sydney and Johnny that he isn't even looking at the bigger picture. When Kristen vanishes, EJ is going to think Rita handled it. Rita's going to think EJ hired someone else. And the police, Jada and Rafe are going to have a field day. Let's just break down the evidence that is going to bury EJ. You have Marlena, a highly respected psychiatrist, testifying that Kristen feared for her life because of EJ. You have Lexie, EJ's own sister, testifying that she heard him order Rita to make Kristen disappear. You have Rita, who will probably flip on EJ the second she faces jail time, handing over the flight logs for the fueled-up jet and the prep private island. It is the perfect crime, and Sophia didn't even have to lift a finger to frame him. EJ is going to be arrested for a kidnapping or possibly murder if they can't find Kristen that he was actually beaten to the punch on. I honestly don't know whether to laugh or cry. I mean, EJ deserves to be in prison for what he is doing to Holly Jonas right now. Planting pills in a teenager's bag to make her look like a drug addict just to cover up DiMera Pharmaceuticals' arsenic scandal. That is bottom of the barrel, irredeemable villain behavior. So seeing him go down for Kristen's disappearance feels like poetic justice, even if the charges are completely wrong. But can we just take a moment to appreciate the absolute poetic cinema of Kristen DiMera being held hostage by Sophia Choi? Kristen thought she could just use this vulnerable teenage girl, force her to write a suicide note, bash her head in, and walk away tangent-free. Now, Kristen is going to be locked in a basement somewhere, completely at the mercy of the girl she tried to destroy. It is the ultimate karma. And the fact that Kristen's own desperate attempt to frame EJ via Marlena is going to perfectly cover Sophia's tracks. Chef's kiss. Absolutely brilliant writing. I am so incredibly hyped for the next few weeks. The fallout from this is going to be massive. Abe is already on the verge of a violent breakdown over Lexie's failing health, and when he finds out EJ was plotting to kidnap Kristen while Lexie was lying unconscious on the floor, Abe might actually kill EJ himself. And what about Johnny and Theo? With EJ behind bars for Kristen's disappearance, those two are finally going to have the clear path they need to take over DiMera Enterprises and clean up the company's toxic legacy. I swear this show's going to give me a heart attack. I am sitting here typing furiously because I just need to share this with people who get it. The tangled webs these characters weave are just spectacular. EJ thought he was the master manipulator, but he just handed his enemies the loaded gun to take him down. I cannot wait to see the look on his face when Detective Jada Hunter slaps the cuffs on him for a crime he only wished he had committed. Bring on the drama, Days. We are so ready for it.